Welcome to this candidates forum for those individuals seeking the office of mayor of the town of Wilsonville. I'm Doug Adair, the executive director of the Alabama Wildlife Center and the chair of the Shelby County Chamber's Governmental Affairs Work Group. On behalf of our chamber, we're pleased to co-host this program with Shelby County Newspapers, Inc. We hope you find this program both interesting and informative, and we're pleased you could be with us. Before we begin, let me express our thanks to each of the candidates in alphabetical order, Ricky Ray Morris and Greg Smith, for joining us for this virtual forum. Gentlemen, your willingness to put yourselves before the voters of the town of Wilsonville is a true testament to your desire to serve and to lead your community. Now, let me explain our format for this virtual program. Each candidate will be asked the same questions and given 2 minutes to respond. The sequence for answering questions will rotate alphabetically. Neither of the candidates have been provided with the questions prior to this event. The candidates will respond to these questions in this alphabetical sequence, with each candidate alternating responding to the question first. The rotation sequence will continue in this fashion through the end of the question and answer portion of the forum. In the interest of time, there will be no opening statements. However, there will be an opportunity for each candidate to provide a closing statement. These closing statements should be no longer than 3 minutes. Jordan Powell, Director of Investor Development with the Chamber, will act as timekeeper and provide each of the candidates with a countdown during their answers by holding up a card indicating the time remaining. Kirk Manser, President and CEO with the Shelby County Chamber, will be posing the questions to the candidates. Now, let's begin with our first question.
Thank you, Doug. We'll begin our question and answer portion of tonight's forum by starting with Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, why do you want to be the mayor for the town of Wilsonville?
Start with, I was raised in Wilsonville, so Wilsonville is home. Never been nowhere else. Been there my entire life, 60 years, and I have a passion for Wilsonville to, when you take care of your house, you call it your home, you always want to keep it up, take care of it. If it needs paint and whatnot, well, I feel the same way about the town. I'd like to see the town prosper, keep everything we got up to par, look nice, and add what we need to do, increase our revenue, bringing in new business, and just when people go through Wilson, they'll say, hey, that little town shines. It's something special, because it's something special in my heart.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Smith, same first question to you. Why do you want to be the mayor for the town of Wilsonville?
Because I attended some of the town meetings over the past couple of years. I've been in the area now for 5.5 years, living part-time there Monday through about Saturday. I was working in Birmingham. My father was in health, so I stayed there near them during that period. I made it my full-time residence in February, and I was hearing things and seeing things done that I thought were out of sequence as far as priorities go. I thought we were spending a lot of time on appearances while ignoring maybe some underlying faults in our infrastructure and needs of the community, such as storm shelters and community centers and those types of things. And when I tried to address them, honestly, I didn't think my questions were being taken very seriously. So I got mad and I decided to do something about it. And several people heard me speak at one of the meetings and asked me if I would consider running, and that kind of grew up to where there was a couple of dozen asking me. And I'm not a politician by nature. I have no desire to be. But I wanted to see the things done. And I think I have enough background in business and technology that I can help get a lot of those things done. Certainly move them further than they've been moved before.
Thank you very much. Now we'll have our second question beginning with you, Mr. Smith. What, in your opinion, are the priorities and responsibilities of the town of Wilsonville's mayor?
Taking care of the needs of the citizens of Wilsonville. And that means all the citizens of Wilsonville. We have a geographically diverse area. It encompasses very rural areas. You've got the piece around town, you've got people on the lake, and there's a lot of things missing. We have an issue with some criminal activities that need to be addressed, and I think we need to be working closer with the mayor. First responsibility of any public servant in charge, make sure his people are safe and secure, and that they can raise their families in peace without having to worry about issues of theft or burglary or those things. And I got to experience some of that firsthand over the last several years. I want to see it cleaned up. I want to see us do some neighborhood watch type activities, getting organized. I think the city ought to be sponsoring that and helping people get educated about those programs. Second, I talked about the infrastructure. We have some issues with water pressure and roads and those types of things that need cleaning up. We need some community facilities such as a community storm center and community building, for the people. Seniors want a senior center, that type of thing. The other thing I would say is, we have horrible internet service, and that's actually what I do for a living full-time, and I want to be able to leverage that experience to try to get us a service provider and get information out to people about what their options are. With COVID now and people working from home and kids studying at home, we need it more than ever.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Morris, same second question to you. What, in your opinion, are the priorities and responsibilities of the town of Wilsonville's mayor?
One, be a steward of the money. And two, we have to maintain our infrastructure, our water system, our sewage plant, our sewage lines, and we got to make sure we have the right personnel in place to maintain this, because you got to have a water person, which we've got a great one, but one day he's going to retire, so we need to think ahead and go ahead and have somebody in place to go ahead and get him aboard and be able to take over when he decides to retire. And we've got a library that's really prospering right now, but it needs more room. We got to look at getting something bigger for that, and people give me some ideas on different things that they want, but no one priority. We got to take care of what we got first, and then look and see what we need afterwards.
And now for our third question, we'll start with Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, how would you describe Wilsonville when asked by someone wanting to start a business?
The people of Wilsonville really take them in, and I think the people, as you can see, supports our businesses in town because they want it to be there. It's convenient, and instead of having to drive to other towns, having it right there local, I think would be a plus. All the businesses that are there do great, because we just had a meeting the other night talking about how our revenue, our tax base is coming in, and during all this, it's really been doing good, and that tells me people's shopping, buying there in town.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Smith, again, same question to you. How would you describe Wilsonville when asked by someone wanting to start a business?
Unlimited potential. We have Mayberry with a Riverview, and we all enjoy that. We want that small town atmosphere. I think we could do more to encourage businesses there, but there's tons of opportunity. You have people now that are looking for a place to eat. We're going to Harpersville or to Columbiana. Well, we have nothing locally there in town. There's opportunities for that. There's all kind of where there would be no competition to come to that. Plus, we have enough sites that would even make for businesses if they wanted to locate there. We're only 35 minutes or so from 280 up at 459, so it's not like you're at the other end of the world. And we still have enough facilities and resources here to support a business and a great place to live in the meantime.
Thank you very much. And now for our fourth question, Mr. Smith, we'll begin with you. What plans, if any, do you have to help attract more businesses into the town of Wilsonville?
I think favorable tax status would be a benefit. I think solicitation with some numbers behind it, and I mean numbers behind it do media campaigns, that type of stuff around trying to get it. If people know that they're going to get support from the community, I think they're much more likely to come. I also think we could do a better job of aligning with the county plans and what they're doing to try to bring businesses into Shelby County. I'd like to leverage more of that. I don't know that we've done a good job of aligning ourselves with that in the past, and I'd like to see us work closer with the county government, state government, leverage what programs we can, and by programs I mean there's development money available, there's things like that we could take advantage of, and I'm not sure that we've done a good job. There's less businesses in Wilsonville now than there were when I was growing up in the 60s there, and that we can't go backwards. That tax base is primarily where we get our revenues, and when that goes away or those businesses suffer, when like the Alabama power plant shuts down or something like that, we've got to have a backup plan. We need a larger tax base. We need people visiting those businesses that can support them, and in the meantime you get to do business with your neighbors.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Morris, same question to you. What plans, if any, do you have to help attract more businesses into the town of Wilsonville?
Well, first we need to get this virus gone, because right now people are scared to do anything. But once we get all this hopefully quickly took care of, then we definitely need a restaurant. But right now it's not a good time. People don't know what's going to happen, and so we got to be a little patient. But having a school that we have, I think will bring younger couples there, because we have a top-notch elementary school, and I've always been there to support it and volunteered there, and I'm very proud of our school, and I think that is a big draw there for elementary age children, for young couples. And also we have Lay Lake that draws people, to have the recreation, the fishing and whatnot there at Lay Lake. And then the hometown feeling, the small town hometown feeling. It's something you just have to experience to understand what I'm talking about.
Mr. Morris, we'll start our fifth question with you. If you're elected, what specific skills or strengths do you possess which you believe will benefit the town of Wilsonville?
Well, I am a hands-on person. I'm a people person. I'm going to be out there talking to people, seeing the ideas. I will listen, and you might see me down the ditch with a water man fixing a water leak one day. I mean, I've done that in the past, so I don't mind jumping in there, helping, doing whatever I need to do. I mean, I'm not going to be one to just stand aside and watch everybody else do everything. I like getting in there with them, and I ain't gonna put myself higher than nobody else. I'm just like everybody else. I'm gonna get in there and do what needs to be done.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Smith, same question to you. If you're elected, what specific skills or strengths do you possess which you believe will benefit the town of Wilsonville?
That's an interesting question because I haven't lived in Wilsonville my entire life. I left when I was 17 and had my mother sign to go into the service. I did 11 years in the Air Force, and I came out, as a senior NCO and, kind of opinionated and got some sharp edges from it. Since that time, I've spent my career in technology, primarily around service providers. I designed the Metro Ethernet network that was used by Bell South and which is still used by AT&T to connect most of the businesses here today. C-Spire, which is coming into Alabama now, formerly Cellular South, I did their first network design. I sold them most of the networking equipment they had until a few years ago, and still close with those executives and work in those things. Right now I'm with a company. We do a lot with the University of Alabama, UAB, their wireless projects, that type of stuff. So my knowledge of technology, my knowledge of business at a very high level, my business contacts in the state and up through state government, I think those are the things that we could leverage for the city. Ironically, I would not have had those skills had I not left for a period of time. I started my life there, was born here at the Columbiana Clinic when my family was living out there. We left and went to Alabaster about 6, but I spent the weekends and summers with my family and my grandparents over at Smith's Camp. It was a paradise back then. And I've spent time visiting my family since then, coming home when I was in the service and also when I was living in Birmingham and down towards Montgomery. I moved there 5 years ago and I built a retirement home. I plan on going nowhere. They will plant me there or pour me in that river one day. It's where I want to be and where I want my family to spend the rest of our lives. That being said, where some things that I need, basic infrastructures and stuff like that, so that we can accomplish that and do it in comfort. And I think that's true for most of the residents in Wilsonville. So yeah, those skills in business, those skills from the military, I think that if you go and you look at my LinkedIn profile, you can find me easy at gregsmith@layer3.com. You can research that for yourself and decide whether it's worthwhile or not.
Thank you very much. Now for our sixth question, Mr. Smith, where do you see the town of Wilsonville in 4 years?
4 years from now, I would set a goal, and you know, in business we do this. We lay out a 5-year plan whenever we start. And we lay out our objectives, where we want to be in 5 years, both from a revenue, growth, those types of things, how many people we're going to need to do that. And you walk it backwards. You start stacking your dominoes. And then you get back to where you are today and you tip that first domino. Okay? I think we need to do that for Wilsonville. Let's sit down and put a plan together on what type and how many businesses we'd like to attract to our area, on where we would like to see residential growth, you know, landowners, areas that are interested in having that come into them, you know, places where the infrastructure can actually support it. A lot of places we could not do it because water and highways would not support additional, you know, residences there. Let's put a plan together around that. I know the city has planning and I know they've done some of this work. I don't know how much has been done around businesses, the type of businesses, the size of businesses we want, and an active campaign on what we need to do to get these people interested in coming here. You know, the program behind that, and then work the plan, you know, adapt as you need to. Any plan never works the way you think it will. And work it through that way. And check our progress and hold ourselves accountable. Not just get to the end and say we tried. Little green guy on Star Wars said there is no try, there is only do or not do. You know, and I am very much that way. It's how you execute. In the end, we don't get paid for effort, we get paid for execution. And the lack of execution, I think, is something we've suffered from around the things that are important to me and the people that I've spoken with.
Thank you. And Mr. Morris, same question. Where do you see the town of Wilsonville in 4 years?
4 years. Well, I hope that after I become mayor, after the 4th year, everybody can look back and say, hey, they've done a good job juggling the budget. They've met our needs, the town needs. We still have money in the bank for emergencies and whatnot, and they've added things that we needed, like maybe a storm shelter, multi-purpose building is what I got in my mind with, you know, maybe a storm shelter and a library, and then have another area for like senior citizens or different activities to come in and something we'd be proud of and everybody be able to use. And I would love to see our baseball program, the youth program, strive again like it used to. You know, kids just don't seem like they want to play ball like they do, but I'm going to, you know, strive and push that and try to get that back going, because I had fun memories playing ball there, and I've coached many years there, and I just would like the other kids to have memories like me.
Okay. Thank you. And now for our final question in the question and answer portion of our forum. Mr. Smith, why should the citizens of Wilsonville elect you mayor?
I think the experience. I'm definitely something of a disruption, I think, in the existing infrastructure there as far as politically. I haven't served on the town council at all. You know, I have different priorities and different ideas over what we should be doing. And it's going to be my job to try to convince the people serving with me that we need to take a look at those and make them the town's priorities. And it's not necessarily my ideas, but the ideas of the citizens that I want to see. My job is to serve. And what they see as their needs as a consensus is what my job is to get done. I mean, it's that simple. It's not about Greg Smith, it's about Wilsonville. And I will do everything I can to get those things done. As I alluded to a little bit earlier, I think I have a unique background in business and in technology and, you know, something of a drill sergeant, if you will, from the service that I can help drive those things. I certainly won't take no for an answer. One of the things I wanted to see was a blog for the mayor where people could ask questions online and attach it to the town website. A lot of people can't go to those town meetings, you know, and when they do, they don't get a lot out of them because it's got an agenda and it moves pretty quick with just a short question period. People ought to be able to bring up ideas. It's called community sourcing, and your largest companies that I work with do that these days to improve their service and to improve what they give to their customers. And I think it's a great idea that we bring that into the city government. You know, let's take the ideas from the community. If we get enough consensus on them, we ought to make that our plan.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Morris, same final question to you. Why should the citizens of Wilsonville elect you mayor?
Well, I've been on the council 16 years, lived there all my life, so everybody that's been there a while know me. I am what I am. I ain't gonna make it like I'm something that's the greatest thing that ever come out. I'm just a person like everybody else. But nobody worked no harder than me because I ain't scared of work. And I want to, whatever we do as a council and a mayor, do what's best for the town because it is home. Like I started off, the first question, you know, you take care of your house. You gotta have your house in order. Same way with the town. I want the town in order and everybody be proud of it.
That concludes the question and answer portion of our virtual forum for the candidates running for mayor for the town of Wilsonville. We'll now move into each candidate's closing statement, and we'll begin with Mr. Smith.
First, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Shelby County and the Shelby County Reporter for having me here today and having this opportunity to speak. We've ran kind of an online campaign due to the pandemic. Not real comfortable sometimes going to people's door with a mask on. That seems odd. And people naturally are trying to distance a little bit. One word, I know I'm critical of the policies and some of the things that have been done by the Wilsonville City Council in the past and leading up to today. But I don't want to make that criticism of the people. I know that my opponent, Ricky, has served years on the City Council and been on the volunteer fire department, and I admire that service, and I think we all ought to be appreciative. And we ought to be appreciative of everybody who takes an opportunity to serve. I think they genuinely all have the community's best interest at heart. I just think I have different priorities that I would like to see us focus on first. And I think that I have different experience that a lot of the people who've come before me to help get these things done and get them in front of the right people, try to draw the right type of attention to them so that we can get them accomplished. I started this because people asked me to. I have no desire to be a politician. I'm not much of one. I actually am too blunt and too plain spoken most of the time. And that will continue. I've talked about having some type of a mayor blog where people can interface on an ongoing basis and ask questions. I think that's great, and I think we need to be holding each other accountable to get these things done. I will say that no government can be successful at accomplishing these things without the support and the help of the people who live there. That's going to become important too, and I hope we can draw a consensus around the things that we want to do and then get the entire community behind making it happen. In my campaign, I've asked for that, and the people that have been supporting me and the people that have come to the website on Facebook have been great, and I appreciate their support. I appreciate everybody who's let me put a sign in their yard. It's been very, very difficult to get the word out, and that's been a great deal of help. I would offer that if anybody wants to contact me, I think it's Greg or G. Smith Mayor, at G. Smith Mayor on Facebook. You can reach me there and message me. I'm happy to either message you back, or a couple of people have asked me to call them, and I will call you back. I have no problem coming to see you or getting on the phone with you. You need to be comfortable with who you put in that office, and like I said, we need to establish, I think, what we all want to accomplish in the next 4 years, and then hold the government, the people we elect, and each other accountable for getting it done. I thank you for your time today and wish all of you a great weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And now, Mr. Morris, your closing statement.
I would like for y'all to vote for me for Mayor of Wilsonville, because no one has more passion or love for the town of Wilsonville than me. And I raised my family there, my grandkids are there, I love the school, I love the community, I love everything about Wilsonville. I don't want to hurt it, I want to make it better. I want it to grow, to strive, get more revenue in, to add stuff to what's already there, because we have a great little town. And I want it to stay a loving town the way I've always known it to be. And as mayor, I will promise you, I will always have the best interests of the citizens and the town in mind at all times. I will be a hands-on mayor. I will mingle with the people. I will get out and work hard and will not let you down. And I ask you to vote for me on August 25th as the mayor of Wilsonville. Thank you.
That concludes our forum. Thanks again to both Ricky Ray Morris and Greg Smith for joining us and for your willingness to share your vision for the town of Wilsonville. Thanks also to our collaborative partners at Shelby County Newspapers, Inc. Finally, and most importantly, thanks to each of you for taking the time to view this video. We hope you found this program informative, and we encourage each of you to participate in the election on Tuesday, August 25th. We are adjourned.